So this is kind of wild. People have been bringing this up. We had somebody in chat already address this, asking if this is normal, and it is not normal. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the first Avengers Doomsday trailer rumored to be heading out way sooner than expected. I'm over on comicbookmovie.com. If a new rumor is to be believed, we could be getting a first look at Marvel Studios' Avengers Doomsday much sooner than anyone anticipated. And yes, it could be headed our way later this year. Avengers Doomsday was originally scheduled to be released in theaters next May. The same month, every other movie starring Earth's Mightiest Heroes has found huge success. And by the way, too, I just want to stop for a second here. I was thinking about this yesterday. You know how there's like that big alien ship rock thing? Nobody can decide if it's a meteor, if it's the aliens coming to destroy us all or whatever. So I've been thinking about this. And I know this is a weird tangent here, but just walk with me on this. I've been thinking about this, and I'm like, dude, if these aliens do actually show up, okay, and they blow us up, one of the last thoughts that's going to go through my head is, I really wish those two Avengers movies would have actually come out in 2025 when they were originally slated. I'll never know the truth about Doctor Doom. And then we'll all just burn up into the atmosphere or whatever. But I was seriously thinking about that, dude. I was like, God damn. All right, anyway. To give the Russos more time to deliver the two final chapters in Marvel Studios' multiverse saga, the movie is now heading our way next December. Avengers Secret Wars will follow in December of 2027 in what's shaping up to be a relatively quiet Phase 6. It's because we told him to shut the fuck up. Only Spider-Man Brand New Day is sandwiched between them. Despite this significant delay, it sounds like we'll get a first look at Avengers Doomsday much sooner than expected. According to Daniel Richtman, a first look will be attached to Avatar Fire and Ash when it arrives in theaters on December 19th. We'd bet on that preview being a theater exclusive, not dissimilar to how the Avatar threequel and Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey were teased. An online release is sure to follow, of course, and bootlegs will inevitably leak. Richtman has a solid track record, particularly with trailers, so we'd say there's something to this rumor. A year between trailers and the movie's release may seem like a lot. It is a lot, actually. Disney needs to restore faith in the MCU, and a brief sneak peek, even if just a few snippets of footage, and a first look at Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom would go a long way in building excitement. Heck, even if it's a shot of Doom and a glimpse of Avengers and the X-Men squaring off, there's going to be more than enough to make Avengers Doomsday feel like an event, something that doesn't currently seem to be the case with many big-name characters missing from the cast. That's kind of an interesting... That's kind of an interesting, like, little end cap segment that they put there at comicbook.com. This is potentially an issue here. I wonder what you guys think about this. Is Doomsday a little bit not big enough? Right? Is Doomsday, which when it first was announced, right, and you just had Downey come out there and it's like Doomsday, I almost feel like there was maybe even more hype then. And then with the reveal of the chairs and with the reveal of some of the stuff and the rap party and all this sort of stuff, when it kind of settles in that the majority of the plot is actually the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, and the Captain America Brave New World movie cast, when it settles in a little bit that it's actually that cast hanging out with RDJ Doctor Doom, it does take a little bit of the excitement away, I think. Doomsday in and of itself, kind of, there was more promise there. I think a lot of people honestly wanted, and I remember kind of thinking this very early on myself, I think a lot of people wanted the movie to kind of sideline all of these current Avengers very quickly and just get into the crazy multiversal shit with the characters we really enjoy. That would be, you know, your Toby Spider-Man, you know, the Hugh Jackman Wolverine, all the OGs, Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. Like, a lot of us just want to get to the fun shit, frankly. And so I think Doomsday did kind of get this problem. Like, I think this is actually like a reality that's out there. Like, I've even heard people saying, like, dude, I've even heard people saying that they should potentially change the title of Doomsday to Avengers vs. X-Men. And I'm like, that's some wild shit. But like, dead ass, there are people saying that right now. And a part of why they are saying that is because there does seem to be a lack of hype and a lack of excitement with the Doomsday movie. Your mileage may vary on how you feel about that. But that brings me to a place where I think a very early trailer is actually a great idea here. Because there's a lot of interest in the concept. Obviously, everybody knows about Downey coming back and Doctor Doom in the movie itself, right? But there's not necessarily a lot of hype or excitement. There's a lot of trepidation, a lot of people confused, definitely people interested, but not necessarily hyped up and excited. So I think having a trailer out very, very early, because this would be about a year before the movie release, which is basically about 6 months before you would get a standard first teaser trailer and then a marketing campaign, right? It would obviously make sense to do a marketing campaign in a sort of truncated time period, because you don't want to do it so far out that you're wasting money, because people are like, oh, yeah, that thing's coming out sometime, right? No, you want it to kind of be a directed campaign towards an end date. So that's going to be a thing. And this is about 6 months before that would normally pop off. And it's a whole 6 months potentially before, or at least like 3 to 4 months before what you would see for a marketing for Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the big July movie next summer, that thing's probably going to start February. It's marketing, right? So we're a couple of months ahead of even that for a movie that's 6 months past that. So it is definitely unusual, but do you guys understand what I'm saying? Where this is sort of a unique situation. And I think maybe because of the seeming lack of hype and the way that the temperature has gone a little bit cold, I would argue because of the performance of some of the things in 2025, a lot of the shows are not performing well. All of the movies underperformed, right? Every single movie underperformed. I think giving a little bit of distance to all of that stuff and then kind of doing this like double down reminder of like, yo, this is the real hype shit is a great idea. Now, the question is, what are they going to show? And this is where it gets really interesting, because at this date, during this, for literally about the end of December, they should be able to show basically almost anything from the film. Okay, this movie recently wrapped. It filmed for a ton of time. It's going to film again towards the end of this year, maybe even going into 2026. Maybe it'll start in like 2026 or whatever. But around that time, they're going to be basically aiming up to go film again. So they will have this assembly cut. They will have a ton of finished visual effects. They will have, I don't know, 70% of the movie like done, depending on how you look at it. So they will have the ability to show and basically anything. So this kind of reminds me of when you go back to Infinity War and Endgame, there was a teaser trailer that arrived at Comic-Con the year before Infinity War hit, and it had unfinished visual effects. But it was like the first time ever that anybody had actually seen like what Thanos was actually going to look like in that film. And it blew people away. It got people very, very excited. But it never got released publicly because it was not ready. The visual effects were not ready. This is almost a completely different situation for Doomsday, where Doomsday will have the opportunity to do that same thing, but it will be polished, crispy, like 100% ready, high fidelity rendered visual effects. So they can basically show us anything. Now, granted, because it is a year away, you would not expect them to go crazy, right? So you can imagine a first look at Doom, right? Now, I don't know, though. Is that going to be a first look similar to the post-credit scene? Are we going to see him in action? Are we going to see him doing some actual magic and shit like that? Because remember, they just had this Shanghai thing. We got an official look at what his costume looks like. From what I understand, you're going to get a lot more like little drops here and there throughout the rest of the year leading to that. So we might have a very good look at Doom already by then. So maybe this is the first time you see him on screen, actually in the frame, rendered the way that he will be in that movie. That could be very exciting, and that could be really cool. Maybe we get a look at the mask and everything like that, or we get like a kind of a tease, right? Kind of behind the back or whatever. I would expect that you'll probably get the voice, and that's going to be shocking. My Name of Doom. My Name of Doom is coming. The world is not ready for it. And so that's going to be pretty fucking shocking. I wonder how many people are going to like walk out of the theater at that point, not watch the Avatar movie and go home and rethink their life. But that is an actual thing. So we'll probably get The Voice. In all seriousness, I do expect that we'll get The Voice, man. And I wonder what it's going to be like. I mean, we actually do really want to know what that's going to sound like and how much care and whatever has been given to it. Is it going to be like Wanda's accent where it like disappears? You know, there's a lot of questions. So I would expect you get maybe a first look at Doom, a first, hearing the voice. Maybe we get a little bit of his magic. Like, dude, I would really like that. Just a little bit of Doom magic, bro. What if, chat? What if it's the spine rip? What if it's the spine rip? What if they fucking go for it? What if Doctor Doom pulls up on one of our beloved Marvel characters, like Steve Rogers, and rips his fucking spine out? Holy shit, dude. No way they'll do that in a promo. I mean, dude, probably not. Probably not. But yeah, wouldn't that be sick, dude? Little spine rip. Damn, dude. Yeah, spine rip for a PG-13 film. Exactly. And you know what? Now that you've mentioned that, it's a child's spine. I didn't want to go there. But just me, bro, is saying that it has to be a child's spine that gets ripped out. And I think he's right. You know, just to really solidify the evil of Doom, yeah. And it also saves on visual effects because you don't have to render the spine because it's smaller. You don't have to render it as much. It's a smaller spine. I believe that the children are our future of the spine rip promo for Doctor Doom. That's basically how the song goes. Why would they do it in a promo? They put it in a light show. Great way to build hype. Why wouldn't they do it in a promo? That's a good question, actually. Yeah. No, I think the whole point is like, go big, man. Get people excited. I mean, people be talking about that. I heard Jack Black is in Doomsday. God, I hope so. Yeah. Yep. Doomsday will be fantastic. I think Doomsday is going to be very good. Yeah. But do you know what I'm saying, Kaylin? Do you get what I'm saying about as far as like the hype it's not gone, but it kind of fizzled. And I think it's been replaced by like just a lot of uncertainty. And I think the performance of the movies hurt this conversation. But also I think the narrative is out there because there's just so many questions about the film. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of questions about this movie. So I think this early trailer is a good idea. I think this is a good idea. I think you want to establish that. I think you want to take control of that narrative. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. There's the conversation and the predictions of the trailer for Doomsday. That's going to be really exciting. I mean, I was already excited for the Avatar movie. I'm extra excited now to check out this trailer. I'll do a little breakdown after I see it, you know. Yeah, should be fun. Should be fun.